Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we look at and talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be looking at some more video game music suggestions that people have given to me. This is probably part 3, and however many parts end up coming out, who knows. But yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. I hope you guys have been enjoying it as well. And yeah, we got more tracks to go over, so let's get to it. This is from Beyond Good and Evil. This is called Propaganda. I have played this game. I remember one piece of music from it, which was Mama Goes, which is kind of this weird like reggae thing. That's pretty sweet, but I don't remember any other music from this game, so this should be fun. Let's have a listen. Alright, well there's two things straight away. We've got almost, I would say, Arabic kind of feel, and we've got words, which I'm not sure what language that is. This is bizarre as hell. I love it. I wish I remembered what more of the soundtrack was like. I don't know where this plays either in the game. It's been such a long time since I played it. But I like the fact that it's a hip hop track essentially, with that kind of, like I said, like that. And I can understand he's saying propaganda, and that's about it. Okay, so then we have more of the drums coming in at that point. Yeah, this is kind of cool. It's not often you hear that many video game tracks with vocals, especially at the time this came out. Like, it does happen. There are tracks. You've got Metal Gear Solid's a fantastic series for stuff like that. There are plenty of other games that do it. But yeah, like, this came out on PS2, GameCube, and the original Xbox. I believe it's on all three of them, and probably PC. So to hear this sound like it does, and they're not using MIDI, it just all sounds like proper CD quality audio. It's actually pretty impressive. I'm liking the drums now. Really driving it along. Propaganda. Weird. Propaganda. Propaganda. There's a lot of stuff going on in this track. We've got like some weird, I believe it's violins have gone a bit weird now. I've got a feeling this might play in a market. Like, I can imagine this playing in like a market scene in wherever, I can't remember where the game's set, running around and hearing this play. It's got that very Eastern European markets, you know, the kind of generic kind of music that they use, that kind of stuff. I say Eastern European. What the hell is that? What's with the keyboard all of a sudden? That's very like horror. The track already stands out. The track is already, like, you know, very obvious, has that feel to it with the strings going with that Arabian feel, and obviously with whatever, I'm not sure what language they're singing in, but obviously rapping in, sorry, and that. But then they put this weird ass horror keyboard in there. I'm not sure it works, but it definitely is. You're not going to forget the track anytime soon, that's for sure. It's it's turned into like almost like 1940s, 50s, like, you know, the keyboard screams that you hear when the title of the film comes out. Very weird. Or it's something that Gorillaz would make. It's definitely a Gorillaz song. So is that sound at the start and the beginning meant to be like broadcasting over something? Because that would make sense. That's quite clever. This is a bizarre track. I like the fact that it's very different. It's not maybe something I would want to listen to on the regular, but I do like the fact that it's, you know, you're not gonna. It doesn't sound generic in any way. It has words. We have the weird horror keyboard thing, organ thing going on. Yeah, it's a very, very bizarre track. I believe a lot of the music in Beyond Good and Evil has very different flavours anyway. Like I said, there's kind of like when you go to Mama Goes, there's kind of this reggae feel to that track, which is probably why I like it as much as I do. But yeah, very strange, very unique. Definitely a soundtrack that's probably worth listening to then. If there's more, if the music is as varied as I think it is, then yeah, definitely worth listening to. Alright, moving on to something very different. This is a piece of music called Miami, the original mix. This is used for Hotline Miami, a game that I do know what it is, I've never played it. Very 80s inspired. I'm expecting it. I've heard a little bit of this track, it's very 80s. And yeah, like, this is, I think this plays like on a score screen or something, so yeah, let's have a listen. I should also point out I've been playing in the last few months. I have played both the Deus Ex games and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. So a lot of 80s inspired music. Like, I'm all for it. Very synthwave stuff. This is definitely very chill, and considering I know what Hotline Miami's gameplay is like. Oh, okay. Got a bit of a beat behind it now. Oh, nice. Okay, so if you've never played Hotline Miami, the game requires you to... You will die a lot in it. The idea is it's a top-down game, and you run through rooms, you've got to kill people as quick as possible, but it's one shot and you die and you restart the level. Why... This seems far too chill for what that is, but I believe this is the score screen, and I imagine that after playing a very intense level, this is... You don't want the music to be intense. This is very, like... I'm liking that you've got the boom, pat, very simple. The track's not doing anything complicated. You just got a nice drive there. A lot of synthwave, doesn't have a huge amount of crazy drumming anyway. That's just kind of there to push the track along. You got that and then the strings will come in doing the so far I'm liking it. Very chill. It's probably worth noting out there's a lot of room in this track, and what I mean by there's a lot of room, every instrument has its place. It's not you've not got a ripping guitar solo that's trying to grab your attention. You've got the boom pa of the drum beat underneath. You've got the ba 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 and that going on, and then you've got the strings just kind of meandering between a lot of that. So the strings are kind of the main melody, but they're not really doing anything crazy. The other thing is this track has got so much reverb on it. There's so much reverb on all the things, especially the strings. So that's kind of how you fill it out a little bit. They don't need to have other instruments filling in the gaps. You just reverb the instruments and that kind of fills it out and it kind of fits into all the places. Nice. I don't know what he's saying. I could probably make it out. I like the break with that vocoder thing, synth voice coming in. Something I wanted to point out as well, the kick drum and the snare drum. The snare drum's not that prominent in the track. The kick drum actually has a really a very heavy low bass undertone to it, so it kind of fills out that bottom end quite nicely. But the snare drum's just there. It's not really doing anything other than just being there. It's interesting. That boom, boom, boom. Because you think the snare drum is usually used to drive a track along, and it kind of is here, but it's really not in your face at all. You can easily block out the snare drum, so just listen to the boom, boom of the kick drum. I think that's pretty much like the track repeating at this point. It could be wrong. I'll let it play for a bit longer. I gotta say, I really like this. It fills a role. This is very score screen music sounding to me. Track doesn't need to be complicated. Oh, yeah. Sounds like it's winding down now, actually. Things are fading out. That sub bass on that kick drum is amazing. There is a low bass in there as well, which you may not be able to hear unless you hear it through headphones. Is that repeating there? I guess it is. Yeah, I really like this. This is because the other thing is it doesn't sound very video gamey in the sense that this could just sound like any kind of 80s synthwave, but knowing, you know, that Hotline Miami has a very heavily 80s inspired theme as well as soundtrack, this is just really cool, very chill. I like I said, I like the fact that the music isn't, nothing's trying to grab your attention necessarily. Like, you've obviously got each thing, every time an instrument comes in, you go, oh, that's cool, it fits really well together. But normally in a lot of tracks, you want something to, like, instantly grab hold of the player, where this isn't trying to do that. And I really like that fact that you can just sit on this screen, you're like, damn, that was a hard mission. Probably just sit back and listen to it. Because I don't know how much of this track you would hear in game. That's probably why the beginning bit is just very do-do-do-do-do-do, and then it suddenly comes in with the strings. It doesn't need to be complex because of where it's being used, and I absolutely love that. I think that's fantastic. Alright, on to something very different. This is Alien 3 on the Mega Drive, or the Genesis, depending on where you are in the world. I never played this game, but I am a sucker for the sound on Mega Drive. I think the sound chip's really good. I love the SNES one as well. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's see what this sounds like. Ooh, with some atmospheric noises. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, it's very 80s inspired as well, by the sounds of it. So right away, this is setting a very atmospheric theme. Right, we've got the boom, 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 boom. There's not really much going on. We've got some weird sound effects. What sounds like a dropping effect, or like, I don't know what that's meant to be. It reminds me of Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, but I like the fact that it's building. It's building to something. I'm not sure what, but it's building to something. Oh. Bow. Okay, this is why I love the sound chip. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, so I love when this kind of thing gets done on console like that kind of rhythm. So you've got that do. So there's a couple other examples of this. There's Super Conflict on the SNES does this really well, and also the Jungle Strike and Desert Strike games. They have a kind of kind of what would you call part in those games as well. I love that on old consoles. It always sounds really cool. I think Vector Man does it as well on the Mega Drive. And what we've got here is that with this do over the top. I want to run this back a bit because I really like that. It's like builds. It's not quite there yet, and then there we go. Interesting enough, if you can hear that ooh, ooh, ooh noise in the background, that actually is playing along, I think, to the rest of this track. I've just noticed it then. I'm like, oh, I think this is actually in time with it. But you wouldn't know that from straight away because it just sounds like a weird noise, doesn't it? An alien noise. Oh, to come down. Ooh, I like it. More changes. Oh, that sound is very Mega Drive. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. The one thing this track really needed, it was building and building and building. I was like, where's the drums? So where's the dun dun dun? Or like, where's the something like that? I like the fact that like you have that build and then a melody comes in. Let's just knock it back a little bit so I can hear what happens with the drums when they come in. A proper melody over the top of that. There, nice. What? We're not getting any more. It's interesting because I feel like that's just looped. Oh no. The little noise is back. I got a feeling that's it. We're not going to get like a full-on drum beat behind this. Oh man. Oh, I need it. Okay, so that's clearly going to end. This is really cool. The reason why I like it that really works because I've played the game Jungle Strike. I always imagine like helicopters and stuff. So that's that thing. I imagine like a helicopter flying. I don't know what this game is like. I assume it's a side scroller, a shooter. I have no idea what this game is like. But this I just wish that it went into with some drums. You get a bit of drums there and then they're gone. And I'm like, no, don't tease me like that. Because what would be really cool beyond would be like a like that. And you got that like kind of thing. I really like this. I'm very curious if the rest of the soundtrack is as good as this, but very 80s inspired again, very Mega Drive sounding. I like how you get that main melody bit come in. I really wanted more percussion, but honestly, like, I'm sure someone's remixed it with more percussion if this is a popular track. But I love the build. I love the start of it. It's very atmospheric. Goes into the bop 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 bop, and then adds in a da da da. I'm assuming it's based on Alien 3, the film. I haven't seen Alien 3. I know what it's about. I'm curious if this level, whichever stage 4 is, whatever kind of, it works on that level, because this sounds really cool. It's just a shame about the percussion. I would love to have heard a proper like beat behind this, so I may have to check that out. But this was fun. I really like this. All right, moving on to a game that I know the name of, but I have no clue what it is. It's a game called Body Blow Galactic. This is the main theme. This is an Amiga game. We haven't done it in Amiga music, so this should sound interesting. I believe this. I've heard a little bit of this. It kind of gives me Space Jam vibes, but let's have a listen.
Come on.
Very 90s. Okay, so we've got those terrible voice samples that you have back in the day, because consoles and things couldn't do anything other than bit crush samples. So that has already makes me smile, because I love stuff like that. But we've got the standard da 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 da. So it's building and building and building. And we got a combination of that. I assume this game is a fighting game with the name like that. It's like almost got like crowd music kind of thing. Like it reminds me of like I said, Space Jam, that Come On and Slam, whatever it's called. It's Space Jam, I think. Yeah, they got crowd noises. That's what it sounds like. So I think it's meant to be a drum, that noise, but it sounds like crowd noise going, yeah, like screaming crowd. Oh yeah, this is 90s as it gets. Dun, dun, dun. Anytime you hear that bum 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 bum, it's as 90s as it gets. But I really like just how cheesy this is. This is great. And then you got that like what would be the main melodies. You got that dun dun dun, like that's really cool. Got your classic breakdown. Oh, that's a significant change. This is I really like it. I really like it because it reminds me of sports games. Sports games have this kind of cheesiness to them. Back in the day, NBA Jam, I believe, has a cheesy ass theme back on the SNES, but it's got an energy to it. It's got that kind of like hyping you up towards whatever Body Blows is based on. Like I said, again, I think it's a fighting game. But I just like the 90s of it. It's wearing it all on its sleeve. If this is the main theme, like you boot the game up and this hits you, and you've got like the sample going like yeah, and all this other stuff going on. I think this is. I just like how this is put together. Oh, we've got a siren. Siren's going off, and then we've got a filter going like going on now. Oh yeah. And then that play on the theme with the chords are buh, 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 but now they're going duh, 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 duh. It's like they've changed it up. That buh, buh, buh. I love it. Oh god, it's changing again. My god, this track changes so much. So we went from a track being very energetic, like, yeah, let's get ready to watch this fight between these people or whatever it is, to suddenly it's gone really dark sounding, like, oh, something's coming, something's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gone from, like, because this reminds me of Streets of Rage in a lot of ways, very similar kind of like hip-hoppy kind of beats from back in the 80s, but like I like the fact that it's like that, and then suddenly it's gone to like boss theme kind of like, oh, things are getting difficult. Alright, so now we've turned into Killer Instinct. Dun, 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 dun. We got a bit of Rise of the Robot. Yeah, man, this track is popping. This track is popping off hard. We've definitely got into Streets of Rage territory as well. Oh my god, I'm loving the use of the instruments. We've got the bass coming in here, we got a dick 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 dick. This is just 80s and 90s written all over. Like, this is fantastic. The siren comes in. So I'm going to end now, repeat. Wow, what a phenomenal... That's such a cool main theme. Like, yeah, it has the cheesiness that you expect from that kind of music, right? Cool. But it changes, like, every, I don't know, probably, like, every 40 seconds. Like, each of the... You can split the minutes up. You've got the intro, very, like, 80s, 90s Space Jam kind of track. And it changes, and then it changes again and becomes more of a Streets of Rage kind of like boss music kind of theme. I really like the fact that it keeps adding and taking away stuff. We've got the sirens in there, we've got the voice samples, we've got the bit at the end with the tick 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 and the bass coming in. What a really cool main theme. Like, I don't know, it's hard to say with Amiga tracks. I don't know how much more music there is in this game, and maybe there isn't, but I would love to go and see a remix. I might have to go and find a remix of this, or like a more modernized version, because this would sound really cool. Because the problem with Amiga music as well is it always sounds really compressed and really like quiet, which is no fault of the people that made it. It's just kind of how that music is. But honestly, that was super cool. Like, really, really loving the flavor of this track. And yeah, I definitely want to try and see if there's somebody who's done a cover of this or something that's more modernized. That'd be really sweet. Alright, last up we have, well, somebody suggested the Lemmings soundtrack on the Amiga, and so rather than play the entirety of Lemmings soundtrack, I picked a track that I personally like. I like most of the Lemmings soundtrack, but I actually prefer the Mega Drive soundtrack, because that's the one I grew up with. I have played this. My older brother had Lemmings on the Amiga, but this is called Miners and Climbers. This is one of my favourites, and we're going to have a listen. Again, Amiga music is going to sound very squished, but... Alright, already super cool. Right, and then that womp womp womp. Like, I like that. And then that womp womp womp. There's like already little bits coming in, and that's 6 seconds into the track. 6 seconds into the track, and it's already grabbed my attention. Just listen again. Look at that bumper. So now, a terrible trumpet sound, but alright, so Lemmings is a puzzle game, and it's actually quite a fast-moving puzzle game. You can pause it, luckily, and kind of look at the levels and stuff, but the music's all over the place in this game. You've got like the can, how much is that doggy in the window, Pachal's cannon, some original pieces. I specifically picked, she's coming around a mountain. I picked this one because I think this is an original, but I love the drive in it, like, right? And then in this one you got that boop beep beep, you got that boop boop boop, which is kind of like the percussion side of it, and then the trumpet, the fake trumpet comes in and it starts going do 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 do, and starts playing that melody. I just love how fast paced this track is. It's super catchy, and I don't know what, I can't remember what levels it plays on, but it's intense music for what the game is. Okay, I really like that end bit on the trumpet, that beep, 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 and then it seems like we're switching to a different instrument now. Okay, so that noise, that ding 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 ding, reminds me of Game Boy music. Now, Game Boy music was like 4-bit music essentially, but it reminds me of some of the Donkey Kong stuff that was on there. That's a really cool sound effect. I really like that. That boom 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 whap underneath. Like, the instrumentation in this is bizarre, but I love it. Now, I don't know what the how many tracks there were when they made music for these games, but I like the use of the trumpet and the ding sound thing, the synth, kind of talking to one another on this bit. Let's just knock it back a little bit, but I really like that. Ding wap wap wap. So that's cool, kind of cool and responsive. It's going ding wah wah wah, ding wah wah wah, ding wah 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 wah. So you've kind of got both the instruments talking to each other there. Ding ding. This is so bouncy. Wap wap wap. I love it. Oh, it's got a change. So that was weird. It suddenly had like that melody playing, and it would switch instruments constantly. You had a bit of the trumpets doing it, a bit of the main melody, and the ding thing. Really cool though. And I think it loops there, so it's probably going to go. Yeah, there's a clear loop there. I think we should also, like, I love this track, and I really appreciate the Amiga version of it. I want to listen to the Mega Drive version because that's what I know, and this is something I miss from back in the day. Different hardware had different sound chips. I could sit here and play loads of different versions of this same track from the SNES, probably on PC, Mega Drive, and all that. But I want to play the Mega Drive version. I really like this, but I want to play the Mega Drive version because that's the one I know, and I'm kind of curious to see difference in instrumentation used. Alright, so here is Miners and Climbers. It says disco, but this is the same track, and this is the Mega Drive version. So let's have a listen to this. So already got a kind of very different bass, and you got the ting 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 ting, more of a hi-hat sound. So the drum beat is bop 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 bop. So there is something missing here, because in the Amiga version you hear the ba ba wop 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 wop, and that's not there. And now obviously they're no longer using a trumpet. Instead, you've got what almost sounds like mountain reverb on this synth. It's actually interesting, isn't it? Because the not having that wow well up completely changes the intro. The intro is just the drums now, and the and then into this. So I'm curious as to what changes now. Whoa. well, when it gets to that part. So it's basically the same instrument playing that. They're not splitting it up between the trumpet and the other instrument. The trumpet, MIDI trumpet on the Amiga version definitely has more character, but I would say that this synth is much nicer on the ears. So yeah, there's character missing from this version because you're not having that back and forth between the instruments. It's just the same instrument playing everything now. So rather than like going ding ding wah 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 ding ding wah 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 wah, it's just ding 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 ding. Like, it's weird. How bizarre! I didn't realise how different these versions were. So that's the difference between the sound chips, I guess, is that like this track is much nicer to listen to because it's not so harsh, in my opinion. You got a nicer melody being played on what would be a flute, panpipe, something like that, right? But in the Amiga version, you then have the trumpet and the kind of synth playing back and forth. There's that weird boop 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 noise going on. It's much more interesting as a track because there's so much more stuff going on. Weird. This is why I love old video game music, when you can compare them. Like, I could listen to the SNES version now and that would be different again, and I could listen to like whatever versions there are. Real bizarre, but I'm glad that we've listened to both of these back to back. But yeah, fantastic track. Lemmings generally has a really good soundtrack, so I'd recommend, you know, listen to the version of the Can as well. You'll probably find you have a favourite version of the game, depending on which one you grew up with. Maybe I grew up with the Mega Drive version and the Amiga version, I think, but I remember the music more from the Mega Drive version. But thank you very much for watching this video, as always, guys. Like last time, I will put the composers for each of these tracks down below, so please go and look at the composers, go see what else they've done. Composers need more eyes on them in the video game world. But if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter down below as always, as well as the composers. And until next time, I will see you then.